Today we will be discussing about more CSS concepts like what is ID selector, how we can style any element based on their state, what is the state of that HTML element, and then we will understand how we can import the CSS. Three different ways. We already looked two ways how we can import the style sheet. Today we will look one more style sheet, how we can import it. So I will show all three formats how we can import and their pros and cons. So first I will start with one selector which is remaining. Okay, that is ID selector. So we know that we use ID attribute of HTML element to uniquely define any DOM element actually or a HTML element out of this document. So if I provide ID, so this ID should be unique to this particular HTML element, and I should not assign the same ID to another HTML element. Okay, the reason behind that, we need to identify this particular HTML element, or we can say DOM node. Okay, through JavaScript or whatever operation we want to do on specific to this element, we can do it using this ID. Okay, so same ID we can use to style our element. Okay, so I will save this one. And if you remember, for class selectors, you have full stop then class name. Like here, we need to provide hashtag, okay, and then the particular ID. So we have this ID, and then other things are as it is. So I will put text decoration as underline to this, and we'll run this code. So you will see this particular HTML heading, okay, has got the underline. Other HTML heading doesn't get that underline. Okay, so using ID selector also we can style our HTML element. And till now you have understood this is the way we can comment the CSS part. So it is like first slash, then star, okay, and then again end with first slash, first star, and then slash. Okay, or better way is to just select that particular text, okay, and do control slash. Okay, do control slash, so it will be commented directly. Okay, easy way to comment anything in your CSS file. Fine, so I will save this one. Now there are different parts to this also. There are certain HTML element go through states. Okay, different states. So I will create one anchor tag. Okay, so this is anchor tag where we have put the google.com or Google search engine link. So if I click on it, it will redirect me to google.com. Okay, so here there are different state this anchor tag goes through. So it can, this is now normal static state. Okay, if I uh, put my cursor on this text, so now it going through hover state. Okay, hover state. If I click on it, so it is active state, and then if I click on it and again goes back, so it will be in visited state. So I have already visited this page, and now again came back to this my primary page. So this HTML element will be in visited state. Okay, I will show you one by one. So I will use a particular HTML element here. Okay, focus state. So it is used for input. Okay, so whenever we go to any input element, okay, so right now this input element is in focus state. Okay, now I click outside, now this is not in focus. Whenever I click cursor, now this is in focus state. So this is focus state. Okay, and that's why if you remember, in our HTML forms, we put one attribute autofocus. So whenever we render on the page, this input element directly goes autofocus. It gets focused directly. Just like as soon as I go to Amazon sign in page, it is render and automatically focus directly on page load itself. Okay, and I don't need to click on the input element. It is automatically focused on page load itself. Okay, so this is focus state. And so now what I want, whenever I hover on this text, I want to change the color of this text. Okay, whenever I hover on this text, I want to change its color. So I will use hover, okay, and then I will put color, and we can put like marine. Okay, I'll save it. So if I hover on it, see, the color has changed. So depending on the state, if you want to change the CSS, if you want to change color, background, font, or any other thing, anything it can be. If you want to remove this, uh, right now there is some underline to this text, and on hover, if I want to remove this underline, that can be also possible. So I can put like text decoration none. So if I go, see, as soon as I hover on the text, the color changes and also the underline vanish off. Okay. Then we have another thing like visited. Okay. In this case, what happen if I click on that hyperlink, okay, anchor tag, and visited the page which is there in href. In our case, it is google.com. So I have already visited to google.com. Then it will show in the different color. So mostly for visited pages, okay, hyperlink goes in red. Okay. So right now it is showing directly visited because I have already visited. So I need to delete the browsing history. So let's see, it is showing in blue. As soon as I visit the google.com and come back, it is showing in red that I have already visited this page. Okay. So this is done, visited. Okay. And then I think that's fine. If we want to do it for another things, okay, I will create an input tag also. For that input, okay, we will create one for focus. Okay, and we'll create like, okay, so we have this input element. So as soon as I make it focus, if I click on this input element, its background color should change. Okay, so as soon as I click on the input element, it goes in the focus mode and it background has changed. If I remove it, okay, so I click on somewhere else, so its focus goes off. Okay, and it again showing in the white. Okay, just like if we see here also in amazon.it. So see, it has some shadow in orange whenever we are focusing on it. If I remove my focus, it again goes back in the normal position. So like that, we have created some styling for the focus event or focus state. Okay. So this is styling based on the state, in which state that particular element is present, and based on that thing we will do the whatever we will apply the styling. Now we will discuss about the different ways of importing different ways of importing CSS. Okay, so first one is the external CSS which we are using right currently, okay, where we import the CSS file present in our code repository with link element. So what we are doing here right now, this is our index.html file and this is sample.css file. So we have two files, HTML and CSS file. In HTML file, we are using this link tag to import our external CSS file. Okay, so we are mentioning to browser that this is style sheet and this is the path of that destination or target file. So this is our CSS file. Okay, so using external CSS is the best option. Okay, why? Because see, we are differentiating our code. First file is the HTML file, so we will have all the HTML code here. No mixing of other markup languages or other scripting languages. Okay, we will just keep our file for pure HTML. Same case, we will be having a CSS file and all the CSS will be written. So most of the time if your project is small, okay, like for 4 web pages or 4 sub pages, okay, so you will create one CSS file for all the small 4 sub pages, like 4 HTML files. So if you like this way, so if I have this component section where I have some 6 files and all are small pages. Okay, so for all small pages I will keep one single CSS file and use that single CSS file everywhere. Why? See, whenever we go with web pages, we don't use the different colors. Okay, we don't create any web pages like a first standard or second standard student where they draw anything and they will put colors like anything. For leaves they will put red color, or for water they will put any color. Okay, we create something with some theme. Okay, so when you see any page like amazon.in, so we will see some pattern follow. Okay, they will you will see some buttons are in yellow, some buttons are in gray, but you will not find any color other than these two. Okay, if I go to home page, okay, so you will see this color, button color in again in yellow. So the theme is following here, it will be like dark gray in header. Okay, so this dark gray you can see somewhere else also, but only those specified colors they keep the uniform. Okay, keep the things uniform in the UI elements. So same thing if you are creating 4 sub pages, okay, you have 4 files, so you will, if you keep one CSS file also, it will be easier for you, because every time if you are following some pattern, okay, page, so you can maintain one CSS file if your project is small, or else you can have different CSS files also, not an issue. If your project is bigger, and then if you want to maintain different CSS file for different pages, that's not an issue, you can go ahead with that also. But this way is the better way if you use external CSS files. Okay, so you can differentiate your code, like if you are having HTML file and CSS file. Okay, so this is the first way. Then second way is the internal CSS. Okay, so this internal CSS, we write our CSS inside the style tag. So we have one style tag. So in the internal CSS part, what we need to do, we need to write our CSS in style tag. Okay, that style tag we will use in the head element. Okay, so I will show you how we can do it. So if I say, I will just copy this part, I will comment it right now. So you will see all the styling has went out. Okay, as I commented the changes. Now what I will do, I will use the same style using style tag, and I will copy all the style here, and you will see all the styling has applied again. So red color, this green color has applied, this gray color also has applied to CSS, okay, to HTML element. So this is kind of inline CSS, okay, internal CSS, sorry, not inline, internal CSS, okay, where you are putting all the CSS in the style tag, and you will place this style tag in the head element, okay. So this way is again good, okay, not an issue. But if if it is your project is of only one HTML file, then this is fine. But if you have multiple HTML pages, so in this case it will not work, okay. So even there is a simple CSS, then you need to change these small changes in every file. So like you will have h3 element in every file, p element in every file, list element in every file. So you need to copy the same style in each and every HTML file. And in future you decided to change all the h3 tag with color red, so you need to do changes in each and every file, okay. You need to go to each and every file and do this color red, okay. So this is again a issue, or what we can say hectic process, that you need to change the small minor changes also you need to change repetitively, okay. Instead of that, what you could have done, you could have your own external CSS file and just change at one place. Just changing at one place will affect everywhere. But in this case, with internal CSS, you need to change at every file, okay, wherever you have imported style with style tag, okay. So maintaining such kind of CSS is very difficult if you have multiple files, okay. If you have one or two files, then fine, okay, it is possible, it is maintainable. But if it is more than 3 4 files, okay, so you need to change it everywhere, change in every file. You need to do small minor changes also, okay. Now we will discuss about third one, which you already know, that is inline CSS. Okay. So this inline CSS, we directly write this inline CSS to our HTML element to target that particular element and using this style attribute. So we have no, we didn't have. So I will just put here. So I will put. Okay, so this is where we are doing in inline CSS. We are directly applying the CSS to that particular HTML element. Okay, so this way of writing CSS is always, or I will say must be avoided in wherever possible. Okay, in most of the cases you should or you must avoid this way. If it is not possible for you, then fine. Okay, in rare cases, if you want to apply CSS to inline styling, fine, okay, it's not an issue. There are some cases where you don't have choice and you need to use inline styling, okay. But in most of the scenario you must avoid using CSS by this way, okay. So there are reason again. So least this is again least efficient implementation considering maintenance. So same thing, just like here, if you have minor change, you need to do these minor changes in each and every file. Like that, if you want to apply the same style to each h3 element, you need to copy the same style to each and every h3 element. I need to copy this here also, like this. Again here, so every place wherever I want to apply this style to h3 element, I need to repeat that code again and again and need to apply this style to each and every h3, okay. And if there is a minor change also, again I need to do it at every place, okay. Again, for readability purpose, or what we can say to look better, or whenever any developer comes and see your code file, if he sees that already we have CSS here, HTML here, all the language, all the markup languages and styling languages are present inside one file, then it readability becomes difficult, okay. But if we have one single CSS file, external CSS file, okay, so the developer, he or she can check through CSS individually on this file and HTML here, and no need to go through all those inline styling. So readability is the issue here again. If we are merging many changes, like if you go with inline styling, so you will see style at every element. You need to put styling at every element. So it destroy the readability part in case of inline styling. Okay. So these are the three things we saw with the how we can import the style sheets. Okay. Then next, I will talk about another thing. Oh, 1 second, just I will uncomment these parts. Okay. So one day we saw actually on last session only. So one day we saw that if we have same selector PEP, and if I put something like, okay. So you know that it will take all the P tag will take color of the yellow green. Okay. See, it takes the color of the yellow green. So why it is when we have gray and yellow green? So if your selectors of the same specificity, okay, they are of equal priority, okay. So in this case, it will use a cascade rule. Okay, cascade rule means the property which comes latest or at the end will be taken place. Okay, so in this case, this property is coming latest. Okay, so that's why it takes place. So this is called as cascade rule. Okay, if your what you can say, your specific part or specificity is same. Okay, so specificity is another rule. So there are multiple rule, and we will talk about them one by one. Okay, specificity, this is again one rule. So in case of what you can say, so here you will understand. Okay, this is again another. So we already have two CSS rules with p tag. Okay, we already have two CSS rules with this p tag. If I scroll down at this line number 32 34, I have another CSS rule for p tag only. Okay, and it has color as crimson, so it is showing in crimson. So this CSS rule is very specific. Okay, I want to apply the color to this specific element that is coming after h3 tag. Okay, this is adjacent sibling combinator. We discussed about it, adjacent sibling combinator. So this is applying specific for that element. Okay, this is more specific, so it takes the priority. Okay, and then it shows. You will say it may be using cascade rule as it is coming latest. Okay, still what I will do, I will use it above both the p tag rule. Okay, I will use it above p tag rule. Still you will see this is in red or crimson color. Okay, so it there are different priority how much your selector is specific. Okay, if I apply another thing, so I will apply class to that same element that is coming after h3. So let's see what is the result here. So now the result is the lime color. So again, class has more priority than element selector. So these are the element selector. I have combined element selector. These are element selector. But class has more priority over element selector. So this is specificity rule. Okay. So I will uh, tell you about the specificity kind of priority things later, okay? But just understand, so there are two rules that apply whenever you are applying some CSS. Cascade rule, okay? This cascade rule will comes into picture when there are two CSS rules of same specificity, okay? Two CSS rules of same specificity. So whichever is coming later or latest will be applied to that element, okay? And there another rule, that is specificity rule, that comes in picture when there are two one element, okay? In case of here, okay, for our case, this p element, we have applied multiple scenarios, okay? We have applied multiple CSS rule, that is, this is again p rule, this is again CSS rule for p, this is again CSS rule for p, this is again CSS rule for p. But the class selector is more specific, it has more priority. So that p tag takes the color line, okay? So this is very important rule. So whenever you come faces any CSS issue, there will be always these rules will be applied. These rules working behind the how the CSS works. Okay, so you will not face any issue when you know how these rules work. Okay, then we will discuss about some functions. Okay, so I will change the width. Okay, to change the width, what we will do, that I want the width of this p tag always to be 100% minus 30 pixel. Okay, whatever the device, whether it should be laptop or tablet or mobile phone, what I want, this p tag should take the place 100% minus 30 pixel, okay, whatever the device. So I will use a function, okay, that will calculate this width, okay, it will calculate this width. So that is calci, I will put 100% minus 30 pixel. So if I save it, it will work like this. So I think need to check, and okay, I will change little bit so we can, yeah. So see what it does, whatever the screen size, it takes the 70% minus 30 pixel. Okay, so if I inspect here, here also you will see calculate 70% minus 30 pixel. So it is like 558 pixel. Okay, let me go in the tablet mode. Okay, so if I see, so see if I have created for tab also, it is showing 70% minus 30 pixel. If I go to mobile section, again for mobile section also it is 70 percent minus 30 pixel. Okay. Uh, okay, so you can see the change. Again, the text is very small because I put font size at medium. Let me change it. Okay, let me remove it directly and see what happens. Okay, so font size has increased, but the width is as it is, 70% minus 30 pixel of whatever the width of the device. Okay, so this is calci function. We are using functions to calculate some of the values. Okay, then there are many others. Okay, but this is one major one. If you want, then what we can do here, let me create one box. Okay, so we have one box here. Okay, I will. So we have this one box. Okay, if I for a design requirement or anything, if we want this box to be tilted or rotated by some degrees, okay, so we can do it also to make shift in rotate make the rotation. Okay, so for that we need to use transform property where we can rotate something. Okay, so you can rotate in x x axis, y axis, z axis. So I will just normally use like this. Okay, see it has tilted by zero point 0.7 of that degree, we can say like this. If I inspect here, so here you can see the width and size, that is 200 into 100, and the rotation is of the zero point 0.7 of the turn. Okay, if I change it to, so we will discuss about the different thing, but I'm just trying to tell you about the some of the functions what we can use here. So there are many functions, like for background images, for color also, if you are using RGB. So I, so you can provide RG means red, green, blue, radiant. Okay, so set the background color of the element. So I need to provide calculation. So it will calculate based on the given values. Okay, so see it changed the color. So this is RGB format in which I have given the color. Okay, so this is another function where you can calculate the what amount of red should be there, what amount of green, and what amount of blue should be present. Okay, so see whatever you will put here. So see, so if I want this color, then I can put these values in the RGB function. Okay, and then it will be shown in this color. Or if I want to put in hexadecimal, okay, so I can put this value as a hexadecimal. Okay, so different way, whatever colors right now I'm using the standard colors. I'm not using different colors here. Okay, but if you want specific color, so you can do it like this. So it is taking RGB. Understood? So this is one way of giving color also. And here we use the what we can say calculation to, so to calculate the color, what specific color we want to provide it. Fine. I think we will stop here, and we'll discuss more topics in the later stages. Okay, guys. That's it for today's session. Thank you, guys.